Before we start this program, I would like to give a quick shout out to a few people. First, the team at Pan Tours and Travels Company, based at Surat, through whom we booked our tour. They really came out with this lovely itinerary and also helped me out in a pinch when we needed to upgrade our car to a bigger model as I had goofed up selecting the wrong one on the first day. The second goes to our tour guide, Shamir Salim. Along our entire journey, he has gone the extra step to make sure that we did not face difficulties during our trip. It was him who suggested that we pick up our tickets at Munnar for the Kathakali show and the Kalaripayattu show one day earlier. By informing us in advance the plans for the next day and the ideal start time, he made sure that we did not miss out on any spots that were on the itinerary. Once again, I thank these lovely folks from the bottom of my heart. And now, on with the video. Day one of our trip started with us heading to the airport on a beautiful sunrise. My uncle Cyrus and I agreed to meet at the airport directly. After having a quick coffee, we finished our check-in and boarded our plane. We were pleasantly surprised that when the plane landed, none of the passengers stood up to grab their bags. Can't wait till I'm back up on my feet. After checking into our hotel in the evening, we went to walk along Marine Drive. Day 2 was meant for us to travel from Cochin to Munnar, which is a hill station in Kerala. With my uncle Daanish joining us, along the route we first visited the Hill Palace Museum. After spending some nice time at the museum and enjoying the stunning sceneries around the palace grounds, we went inside to look at some of its stunning artifacts. When I get so hard to love, and I get so restless in my modern ways, that's why I'm so hard to love. After finishing our tour around the palace, we proceeded to head over to have lunch. Our driver suggested that we try a place called Rasa, which serves typical Keralite food. We really enjoyed our time at the restaurant Rasa and highly recommend the same. As it's a traditional restaurant, they serve us the food on banana leaves. This is the Neeriyamangalam Bridge. It connects the Ernakulam and Idukki districts. Opened in 1935, it is the first Class A arch bridge in Asia. We also spotted quite a few monkeys on our way. En route, we stopped at the Cheyara waterfalls. After also seeing the Vallara waterfalls from the car, we then headed to the spice plantations. We were given a lovely tour about the different spices that are grown in Kerala. Ayurveda also has some deep roots in Kerala. The government, along with the tribal people, grow different spices and medicinal plants in the region. There are small spice garden shops for the enlightenment of the tourists. After the spice shop, we checked into our hotel and called it an evening. Day 3 of our visit, we were going to visit the Matukati Dam, the Kunle Dam, the tea estates, Echo Point, Rose Garden, the Photo Point and the Tea Museum.
During this time of the year, Munnar is a very beautiful place to visit. The weather is nice and the surroundings are just stunning. We were all just amazed by how beautiful this part of the world is. On our way, we found a person who was selling galelis. They are also known as ice apples. We had a bunch of them as they were served fresh. We then proceeded on to visit the rose garden. Even though there weren't hardly any roses in the rose garden, the garden is a beautiful place to come and visit if you love flowers. They even have a photo point inside for us to take lovely pictures. After the rose garden, we then proceeded on to visit the photo point, where you could take a picture of yourself along with the tea estates in the background. This tree used to be a very famous spot known as the honeybee tree. Sadly, the honeybees don't stay here anymore. We then proceeded on to visit the Ripple Tea Factory. We took a tour where they explained how tea was manufactured in this region, the necessary steps and processes that a tea leaf goes through till packaging. As usual with Mona, even Matupeti Lake was beautiful. Matupeti Dam near Munnar in Idiki district is a storage concrete gravity dam built in the mountains of Kerala. It has been a vital source of power and a huge revenue for the Idiki district. Usually, because the dam is so small, there are a lot of traffic jams which take place over here. I wish the government of India would employ something like flag to flag so that only traffic flows in one direction at any given time. This way, at least, the dam does not get congested and blocked, especially when there are big vehicles. After crossing the Matupeti Dam, we then proceeded our way to the Echo Point. As we were heading to the Echo Point, we also saw the beautiful sceneries of the Matupeti Lake. One good thing about the Echo Point is entries are free and people have a gala time shouting to hear their own echoes. After spending some time, we then went to the Kundala Dam. The Kundala Dam, also known as the Setu Parvaitipuram Dam, is a masonry gravity dam built on Muthirapua River in Matupeti, Panchayat of the Idiki district in Kerala. This is part of the Palle hydroelectric project, the first hydroelectric project in Kerala. The dam is considered to be Asia's first arch dam. It has a height of 46.93 meters and a length of 259 meters. Release from dam is to River Palar. Here one can see how high the dam is. As these are touristy spots, we usually find a lot of monkeys present in the region. People here love feeding their monkeys. Some of them even love ice creams. We then started returning back to our hotel, and on our way back, we were very lucky to find a few elephants. In the evening, went to watch the Kathakali show and the Kalaripayattu, which is the martial arts show. I must tell you, both the shows were amazing. And you must make it a point to buy your tickets a day in advance as the show gets full very quickly. You can pause and note down the telephone number if you like to book the shows.
Day 4, we were traveling from Munnar to Thekadi. On the recommendation of our tour guide Samir, we left early so that we stood a better chance to get our boat tickets at the Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary. Such is the demand that online bookings get closed days in advance. Luckily, only 50% of the bookings are sold online and the rest are available to purchase at the local ticket counter. I suggest to those who are traveling this region to get their tickets online days in advance, as last minute bookings, especially in peak seasons for the online tickets, is practically impossible. A link to the website will be in the description below. The route from Munnar to Thekadi is really scenic with full of vegetation and wildlife. The roads have lots of climbs, descents, twists, and turns. Our first stop of the day was at Kutumukal Waterfalls. At a distance of 24 kilometers from Munnar and 36 from Idiki, it is a nice place for a picnic spot in the region. We then took a small break to have some refreshments at the nearby restaurant. Our next stop was Vandanmedu Ganapati Temple. Located at the Idiki district, Kerala, Vandanmedu Ganapati Temple is a famous temple dedicated to Lord Ganesha. The idol is 38 feet tall and is the largest Ganapati structure in South India. The 38-foot idol is made of cement and wire. The construction was completed 6 years ago at a cost of 32 lakhs. The idol was made by the famous sculptor Chetrala Eramalur Sivanandan. We then stopped at the Periyar Spice and Ayurvedic Spice Garden to pick up some more spices. Thekadi is considered a haven for natural spices such as black pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cloves. The name Thekadi is derived from the word Teku, which means teak. During noon, we finally reached the Periyar bus ticket booking counter. Here one picks up the bus ticket, which allows us to travel through the forest region to the boating location. Only official buses are allowed to travel in the forest park. The bus dropped us at the center where we could buy our boat tickets. There are 5 boating slots during the day. Periyar Tiger Reserve offers a 1.5 hours boating trip at the lake near the sanctuary. A herd of elephants or a group of samba deer are common sights near the lake. A word of caution: it can get quite chaotic while entering the boating area. I suggest waiting it out till the crowd clears. The name of the boat and the seat number are mentioned on the ticket itself. On a side note, if one wishes to stay inside the park premises, there is the KTDC Palace Hotel located inside the park itself. After completing the boat ride, we then checked into our hotel, Holiday Vista. In the evening, I went out for a little stroll near the hotel to see the town and all the little spice shops. Holiday Vista also has some nice amenities such as a swimming pool and a pool table in the lobby. Dinner was amazing, and I would highly recommend Holiday Vista as a place for everyone to stay in case if they are visiting Thekadi. Day 5. From the high altitudes of Idiki Hills, the wildlife sanctuary of Thekadi, to the backwaters of Alappuzha, Kerala has something for everyone. Now we come on to the next leg of our journey from Thekadi to Alappuzha. Pana Tours and Travels had booked us a houseboat for the whole day. On our route to the backwaters, we stopped at Kasavu Alayam Handlooms. These folks have some amazing hand-woven merchandise, and I suggest people to check them out on their Instagram page. After a 4-hour drive, we boarded our boat at 12. Lunch was quickly served after departure, with a variety of dishes including seafood. After the fabulous lunch, we went on to the main deck to take in the awesome scenery. The steward came after some time and asked us if we would like to prepare anything special for the evening. He mentioned that just before docking the boat, they would stop near a fish market where one could buy their own seafood, such as crabs, lobsters, prawns, and give it to the staff on the boat to be cooked for us. It was he who helped us in procuring toddy in the evening as well. Palm wine, or toddy, is an alcoholic beverage produced from fermented saps of the palm trees found in the region, left overnight to ferment. We went through small canals before entering the huge Vembanad Lake in the backwaters. Vembanad Lake is the longest lake in India, as well as the largest in the state of Kerala. The lake has an area of 230 square kilometers. One can do many water sport activities such as kayaking, having fun on the speedboat, etc. in the region. During the month of August, there is also the famous snake boat races which take place in this region. Just before sunset, our houseboat docked and we picked up prawns from the seafood market for the crew to prepare for us for the evening meal. Food here tasted the best amongst all the places we had eaten in the last couple of days. The staff really came through with the flavors and the variety of dishes served. After a sumptuous meal, we hit our beds and the next day started heading back to the airport. Day 6. After having a lovely time on the boathouse, we disembarked at 9 in the morning. Shamir Salim was already waiting for us at the jetty. Today was the last day of our trip. On our way, we first went to the Marari beach in Alappuzha. Marari beach is a good place to relax. It is known for its peaceful atmosphere, golden sands, and coconut palms. After spending some time there, we went on to the St. Andrew's Basilica at Arthunkal. Located on the shores of the Arabian Sea near Alappuzha, St. Andrew's Basilica is a 16th century church established by the Portuguese. The architectural excellence of the church and the tranquil atmosphere surrounding the church are worth a mention. In 1581, the King of Cochin, Veera Kerala Varma, gave permission to build a church in wood, and later the wooden church was renovated into stone in the year 1602. It was again renovated in the year 1870. The new church foundation was laid in the year 1900. It was blessed and opened for service in 1967. It took 60 years to complete the new church. There is an ancient tradition followed to this day by the devotees of the Hindu deity Lord Ayappa that they must pay homage to Saint Sebastian as they return from Sabrimala, the abode of Lord Ayappa. We then proceeded to visit Mattancherry Palace. Known popularly as the Dutch Palace, it features Kerala murals depicting portraits and exhibits of the Rajas of Kochi. Despite the name Dutch Palace, the palace was built by the Portuguese Empire as a gift to the Kingdom of Cochin. In 1951, the palace was restored and declared a central government protected monument. The palace underwent a second restoration by the Archaeological Survey of India, which commenced in 2007 and was completed by 2009. We then went on to visit the Pardesi synagogue. To reach the synagogue, one travels through the narrow streets of Mattancherry with antique shops on either side of the road. The Jewish synagogue was built in 1568, almost 1500 years after the beginning of the Jewish connections with Kerala. It was built on the land adjacent to the Mattancherry Palace given by the erstwhile king of Cochin. The synagogue, the oldest in the Commonwealth, was built by the Jewish community of Cochin. In 1662, it was destroyed by the Portuguese and then reconstructed 2 years later by the Dutch. These glass chandeliers dangling from the ceiling belong to the 19th century and were imported from Belgium. The floor of the synagogue itself is a showpiece with the paving of hand-painted blue willow patterned floor tiles. These ceramic tiles were brought from Canton, China by Ezekiel Rabbi, a renowned Jewish businessman. Each tile is different from one another in its design, and it never fails to capture the admiration of the visitors. The marvelous construction of the synagogue is revealed in all its features, including the splendid pillars. Two gold crowns presented to the Jewish community by the kings of Cochin and Travancore are also kept there. After visiting the synagogue, we then proceeded to head over to see the Church of St. Francis at Cochin. St. Francis Church, originally built in the year 1503, is one of the oldest European churches in India. The Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama died in Cochin in 1524 when he was on his third visit to India. He was originally buried in this church, but after 14 years, his remains were relocated to Lisbon and is now interred at Jeronimos Monastery. We later saw the Chinese fishing nets, as it was introduced by Chinese explorers who landed here in the 14th century. One interpretation of the name Kochi is Cochin, meaning like China. We then got back into the car to proceed to the airport. Once we reached the airport, we finally said our goodbye wishes to Samir. The Cochin airport is the first in the state to be powered by solar electricity completely. Our flight was full, but nonetheless, the only thing I was able to remember was the last 6 days of my Kerala adventure.